right. Welcome, Jess, Brady, Financially Fierce podcast. You're joining me today on the show, so welcome back.
Thanks. It's nice to be in your new fancy studio.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is great.
Jess has a podcast, Financially Fierce. We produce it for her. I've got no say over the content. She does it all. So if you love it, give her credit. If you hate it, give her the discredit. But yeah, we just wanted to provide more options for listeners, and lots of you listen to the Financially Fierce podcast.
Yeah, and thank you. And we've just turned 1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wild.
I know, wild. It's been great.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't talked about this for a while. People love my rants when I talk about the chess versus non-chess debate. There is a question here, also anonymous. Chess versus Custodian for tax reporting. Hi all. Looking to DCA, that's dollar cost average, into a couple of ETFs long term with potential small sells here and there. Why are we doing potential small sells here and there? Anyway, I'm wondering which model, Chess or Custodian, would be the simplest when it comes to tax report. Custodian. Next question. Let's move on. I've bought a few individual stocks, Chess sponsored, in the past and always dreaded tax time having to deal with buy-sell reconciliation, especially when making multiple buy-sells of the same stock through DCAing and offloading. I believe both Chess and Custodian models have different reporting methods, and I'm wondering if one is simpler than the other. Any insight and recommendation would be appreciated. Cheers. Do you want to go first on your views on this, or do you want me to keep on this rampage?
Oh, I like you on a rant. Go on a rant and then I'll add my bits.
Okay. Children, gather around. You've got to understand, number one, this question has said there's different reporting methods. When you've got a broker account, in theory, there's no quote-unquote reporting. You get a statement or whatever on this many shares, this company. If you sell, off, blah, blah, blah. I'll step back for those new at home. Chess is the ASX clearing house electronic subscriber system. Probably got that wrong, but sub-register system, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's annoying me.
Are you going to talk about HINs?
Yeah, I will, but I just had a total mind blank.
Oh, you could have said anything and I would have gone, yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, I think I was right, yeah. Clearinghouse electronic sub-register system, whatever. So basically that's the register on the ASX of what parcels of shares have been traded and where those shares are sitting. Each person who buys shares or each entity has what they call a HIN, holder identification number, and effectively if I open a new brokerage account, that broker is what they call my Chess sponsor. So if I log into CommSec, buy 300 CBA shares, it will say HIN, Glen James, this number, CBA shares there. So the Custodian is when you have, they call it an omnibus HIN, a company, Custodian, if you will, has one HIN that they use for lots of different investors.
All the people on the bus.
All the people on the bus. So the purest argument is I only buy ETFs and shares that are Chess sponsored because if something goes down, I've got the HIN, I own the shares. Okay, that's cute.
And true.
And true. However, brokerage accounts do not really provide reporting. So if you had a CommSec, NabTrade, Selfwealth, Perla, any CMC, any brokerages that are Chess sponsored, you'd have to plug in some type of tool, if you want, you don't have to, like ShareSite, that tracks the date or the day, the amount of shares and the share price for purchases and sales and how many parcels of shares in each transaction. So in 3, 4, 5, 7 years' time, 30 years' time, you can say, okay, we bought this parcel of shares back in 1992. This is the tax, the growth. You've got to do that reporting.
Yeah, because you don't want to do that manually.
When dividends are paid or distributions from ETFs, you've got to track that as well for your own tax reporting. Whether you use like a share site, whether you use your own spreadsheet, whether you at the end of the year give all the documents to an accountant or if it's fed through the ATO, there you go, you work it out. So a lot of purists think that I only use CHESS sponsored because it's the only way to go. I think if you are that pure, you might not understand the reality of the world that we live in. If you're a purist that only does CHESS sponsored ETFs, well, you don't actually own the underlying shares anyway. The company that you bought the ETF through own the shares. So yeah, purist, you own the units in the ETF. Awesome, that's cute. The minute you want to buy any shares through CommSec, NabTrade, SelfWealth that are not in Australia, you're exiting the CHESS system anyway, and you're going back to custody. So,
Custodian, yeah.
yeah. So basically, I don't care what anyone does. I'm sleeping just as well tonight. But if you're going to be that pure, you need to run that standard in your whole life. Most people that invest outside of super in their own name, that are purists with CHESS, guess what? Most of you would have more super than the money outside of super that's pure on CHESS, and all your super's on custody with a superannuation super trustee. So what are you doing? Now, full disclosure, I don't have any of my equities direct through a CHESS sponsor.
Really?
No, why would I?
Okay.
I don't know,
I have a mix.
Yeah.
I have a mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I don't is because I want tax reporting sorted out. Now there are 100%, some legitimate reasons, like you might have a self-managed super fund and you've got direct equity portfolio only, no ETFs. Sure, go get a CHESS sponsor, do it. But I just think you need to understand, and everyone out there in Reddit and Facebook land and all that stuff, when someone politely asks, hey, what broker should I invest in? They're just so dogged with this, you got to get a CHESS broker, and just confusing people.
Are you on Reddit? You have to stay away from Reddit. I can feel
That's
the
fun.
anger. I think there's also a piece here around just the efficiencies that you can get from a cost perspective when you are doing the custodians. So I think that there are pros and cons depending on what's important to you and what you want. Like there's no one perfect answer, which people get really frustrated at because it's like, well, what's important to you? What are you really looking for?
Well, there's a perfect answer. Understand what you're doing and then do it and tell Glen to shut up because you've got your reason and you understand it.
Totally. But you just got to figure out what that reason is
Yeah.
because that'll lend you to
Yeah.
the option that's going to work best for you. It's just hard when you don't know what is the priority in terms of owning that directly or maybe it's that actually fees are really important and being able to aggregate those and have fractional options and, all that sort of stuff, that becomes a priority.
And that's what I would say. If you're one of these CHESS zealots and you've got a SelfWealth account, Perler account, NabTrade account or CommSec account, and you're a CHESS zealot and you've got ETFs on ASX and you've got direct equities in the US, but probably are, because don't be a zealot because you're actually doing the opposite of your zealotness.